Hi, I hope you're well and all is well with you and you had a good rest. I wanted to, I've got a short time on the video here, so it's Luke 24 from verse 13, and it's the story how the followers of Jesus were on the road to Emmaus, and they encountered Jesus after his resurrection, and Jesus is talking to them and asking them, they're talking, and Jesus comes up to them and asks them, what are you talking about? And they say, are you the only one that doesn't know? And they started to talk, and Jesus was listening to them and asking them questions, asking them what things have happened, and their eyes were miraculously closed to Jesus, the fact they were speaking to the Lord, and they started to tell him about these things. And so, if you will, in your own time, if you'll read this story, it's amazing how the Lord encounters them. And then they end up, and as they finish talking with Jesus, this is like toward the end, they say, will you come with us? It's late. Will you come in and will you be with us? They received the stranger, who they thought was the stranger. They said, come in, stay with us, be with us. And Jesus did, and they accepted him. And in doing that, it was Jesus. They passed the test. They received Jesus. They received the Lord, but they thought it was a stranger. But they were so hospitable, and they would have been blessed by that. They would have been blessed and rewarded by God for that, and we are for everything we do, And so they received Jesus, and they invited him in and extended their hand of hospitality to Jesus. And then the story goes on. Bear with me. They said, stay with us, in verse 29, but they urged him not to go on, saying, stay with us, because it is almost evening and the day is just about ended. So he went inside to stay with them. So I'm trying to keep an eye on the time. And it happened that as he reclined at the table with them, he took the bread and blessed it, and breaking it, he began giving it to them. Then their eyes were suddenly opened by God, and they clearly recognized him, and he vanished from their sight. Oh my gosh, isn't that amazing? Right before them, they have Jesus. He's just broke bread. God opens their eyes here in Luke 24, and he vanishes before them. Right before them, he vanishes. And they're discussing with one another, were not our hearts burning within us while he was talking with us on the road and opening the scriptures to us? Wow. And it goes on. And in your own time, if you will, read that. It's such an amazing story. But the fact that they extended hospitality to Jesus, and they thought it was a stranger, they never knew it was the Lord. They extended hospitality to him and said, come in. So our reward, how the Lord miraculously, never let them see that it was Jesus, and then miraculously opened their eyes, and they were blessed by God. They received Jesus. They saw that and received that revelation, and received what God received Jesus, and they saw that blessing of realizing he was risen, because they extended their hand of hospitality. They extended their hand of hospitality to a stranger, but it was Jesus. And they were blessed by God. Be encouraged today to, follow that example. Let us follow that example, that we help those that we don't know, that they'll be blessed, that will be blessed, and also be rewarded, and blessed and rewarded by God, in whatever way. It could be when we go out, it could be when we go, see somebody on the street, maybe give them a drink if they're on the floor or they need help, or, if they're out and if you're out and about. We never lose our reward, and it's all from the Lord. Amen.